Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our newest expedition video. We took a week off because the event was going on and we were going to get a new format after the event, and we're in that new format. In the new expedition format, we have added the Trials of Grodov cards to the pool of available cards, and that includes the insignias. So now a lot of decks that were close to viable have become a lot more viable. And if you remember in the Skycrag Scout deck we did, I was talking about how if we had the insignia, that deck would be so much better because the power would be better. Well, guess what? We've got it. And we got a new Scout card that actually fits into that deck really well. So we might be rehashing that deck on the next video or sometime moving into the future, because the new Scout Killer card actually fits into the deck really well. It gives it some removal and another Scout card, which it was kind of lacking and it kind of needed. But the big deal is that Insignia just really helps out the power base a lot. However, that's not the deck we're looking at today. Today we're looking at a 3-color take on one of the decks that's kind of currently, I'd say, ripping up the format, but it's not really ripping up the format. It's just around a lot because it's a pretty okay deck. I don't feel like it beats the aggro decks or the insert Icaria here decks is what I call them, which is the various 3-color or 3-faction Icaria decks. Like we've got Ixtan Icaria, and then you've got FJS Icaria, or I think there's even some people that are still running Icaria with time. But regardless, I mean, right now you're either playing kind of, if you're trying to be like really competitive tryhardy, you're playing like the aggro Rakano, aggro mono fire, or you're playing the one of the 3F Icaria decks. But this one kind of, it fits into the meta in an interesting place. The Stonescar Uldra decks are really close to being as good as those. They've got a better top end than a lot of the other decks do, just because you can use things like the Quake Titan with Uldra to really push a lot of damage from out of nowhere. And also Remembrance allows you to do that too with either Vishni or Quake Titan. With either of these two cards, you can push a lot of damage from out of nowhere at your opponent. So it really has a really good explosive top end, but unfortunately, it's also got a really bad floor because sometimes you draw a lot of, kind of fair-ish scout cards that just kind of get run over by what your opponent's doing, and the scout card, or I'm sorry, not scout, but the shift cards end up being a little bit too slow against harsh rule deck, and also a little bit too slow against the aggro stuff if you're not able to get your combos. But if you can get your combos, it's really good. So because of that, because the combo ability of the deck is what's so important, and because it's got such a bad kind of late game, what we decided to do was go, hey, Justice is the most powerful color, let's jam some Justice into our deck and see if we can make a 3-faction shift deck that can shore up some of the holes that we find in the Stonescar Uldra decks. We lose a little bit of the aggro from not having things like Bandit Queens and Champions, but what we get for that is a tighter focus on trying to get Uldra out and trying to really go off with all of our shift shenanigans here. So we're going to kind of look at that deck now. And so if you've ever seen the Stonescar Shift deck, we have the Sinway Smuggler, the Crooked Alleyguide, the Nimble Conscript, the Quake Titan, and the Vishni, and the Uldra. That's basically the core of the Shift deck. And then to kind of combo out a bit, we've added a Nikos so that we can use an Uldra and then get a Nikos into play to get all of those shifted things so that we can then do a big swing on the next turn after we've played an Uldra. We'll go into how we do that in a moment. You've probably already noticed it if you looked at the screen a little bit. But so we added a Nikos, we've added Reweave, and we've added Harsh Rule. Now, Harsh Rule allows us to kind of trade things back and forth, wipe their board out, then drop an Uldra, because you'll notice Harsh Rule on 5, Uldra on 6 can be an extremely powerful play that like aggro decks and some of the other mid-rangey decks like Mono Time mid-range can struggle against. So like if you're running into, say, the Elysian Killers decks, for instance, you'll get into these situations where they're about as slow as the shift deck is, because they're really dropping their power on turn 4 and turn 5, and we're kind of getting our guys jamming in there on turns 4 and 5, sometimes turn 3 if we're really lucky, but we'll only get about one of those. Like our really good power turns are about turn 4, turn 5, right? Well, so is the Elysian Killers deck. They're turn 4, turn 5 because they're like Sandstorm Titan and Zumakin and, you know, stuff like that. So what we're seeking to do is go, well, when they start dropping their beef, we go, cool, Harsh Rule to get our card advantage back, and then on the next turn, Uldra to get that card advantage a second time. So basically what I mean is, let's say we've got a couple of units out, we swing in, we deal some damage, maybe lose some stuff, and then we Harsh Rule and knock out like 4 or 5 of their guys. Well, if ours weren't really able to swing in anyways, us losing them isn't really costing, it's virtual card disadvantage, but we already had those guys at disadvantage because if you can't swing through a Sandstorm Titan, you can't swing through a Sandstorm Titan, right? So if we're already to the point where these guys aren't big enough to swing and they're not helping us, then losing them to Harsh Rule doesn't matter because we've already virtually lost them anyways. So we're recovering that card disadvantage from these guys using the Harsh Rule if we can take out 2 or 3 units on the opponent's side. So then we get another bit of additional kind of 4 for 0, whatever, off of, or 3 for 1, 4 for 1, whatever you want to call it, off of using the Uldra to go, Uldra, bring 3 of those back into play. And now if that happens to be Quake, Titan, and Vishni, we're then getting even more card advantage off of that Uldra than if it's like Crooked Alleyguide and Nimble Conscript. And then, of course, Sin Waste doesn't give us card advantage, but it gives us card quality. So we're kind of doing that. And then the kind of icing on the cake, the reason why we're kind of adding Justice into here is because then you might just get the absolute magical Christmas land play of, okay, turn 5 Harsh Rule, turn 6 Uldra, turn 7... Reweave Uldra into Nikos, swing with all of the stuff that you just put in with Uldra unblockably. So even if the opponent does manage to build back up and they're like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to stop your Uldra, you're like, cool, Reweave Uldra, and boom, we're going to get in there anyway. So that's kind of the idea behind going 3 factions. We lose a little bit of the solid aggro plan that you have in the more traditional just 2 faction Uldra lists to add some fun explosivity, which of course, you know, in the organization, the Queen of Jank, you know, we gotta throw some stuff out there. You know, we gotta kind of like add some spice to the mix. You know, we don't want bland lists. We want spicy lists. We want 3-alarm fire lists. Like, that's what we're looking for around here. Then the market is interesting. So because we're running Combust and Reweave, we have a couple of sack outlets and Devour. So we have all these sack outlets that we don't really care if we use them against our opponents. We're kind of using them on our own stuff. Like I said, those situations where our creatures get outclassed, we swing in unblockably, do some damage, kill something big that might stop us later, you know, open up the doorway, stuff like that. Well, to help take advantage of those, we have a Madness in the market, so we can maybe go steal something from our opponent and gain extra value off of it. And then other value-ridden things, Dizzo's Office to help us get some life back. It's also removal. Card advantage because we play it, sure, it's really expensive, but if you're talking late game and you have nothing else to play anyway, 7's not that big a deal. And then if this gets to stick around for a while, you know, we can get some advantage off of going, well, okay, we'll kill something and then maybe we'll draw a couple of cards. And the lifesteal off of our unblockables is also very helpful. Additionally, if you manage to bring a Quake Titan in, Quake Titan having lifesteal means the 5 damage it does, you'll also gain that life. So it helps you recover if we're in a race situation. Grasping at Shadows, if we've already killed off an Uldra or somehow lost an Uldra into our void, we can get that back. Or, you know, maybe we hit our opponent with a Vishni and steal something cool that we want to get back from their void. It goes into our void through Vishni, and then we Grasping Shadows it back. I've done that before. It's also really good. Nullblade, very important right now because all of the Elysian Killers lists and Mono Time lists have brought Dawnwalker back in, and you kind of need the Nullblade to stop the Dawnwalkers. Also, once again, just another piece of removal that has flexibility because it can also just go face and help us in races. And then Regent's Tomb, kind of the same thing. It's the only way to get Revenge into the game, which gives you another way of getting kind of card advantage, recursion off of, maybe you give one of your units Revenge, it comes back again. I've actually used Regent's Tomb to give an elf off of Vishni Revenge so that I could draw later when that elf came up, and it actually ended up being an impactful play. And then also you can get a big life-stealing unit off of getting the Elias. So really kind of helpful there. Then the other thing it does is since we have so many unblockables, that +1 in power actually ends up becoming relevant because if you have like 2 or 3 unblockables you're swinging in with, or if you've shifted to Vishni and you have 3/2/1 elves, pumping those guys up and playing 1 power and then suddenly doing 3 additional damage, like that's actually not anything to sneeze at. And then I already talked about the madness. So power base is just kind of our traditional style power base. We're running 3 banner, 3 seats of each of the colors we can because we're running 3 of each of the seats, and then we only have 2 sets of banners. So instead of running 2, 2, and 2 like I normally would in a list like this, we're running 3 Rakano and 3 Stonescar banner. And then, of course, our 10 power to make sure that all of our seats come in, have the greatest chance of coming in undepleted. And then we're not running that much justice, so we don't really have to have that many. So it's not such a big deal that we don't have the banner, 2 of the banners that give justice. So we're pretty okay with our list with what we got here. But yeah, that's the list. So let's go get some games and see what happens. Our first game is against Jolly Tim, and this is an absolutely keepable hand. We've got a turn 1 Crooked Alley into turn 2 power. We have the Nikos in hand, which isn't great, but it's also not terrible because, I mean, we're going to have the power to cast it eventually, so we'll keep this one. We only have one kind of clunker card. The rest of it's good. Oh, also, one thing I didn't talk about was the tech of having the one card that hits our... Ooh, perfect. We'll start with that Seed of Vengeance instead. We'll go ahead and shift this into play. That Reweave is not a card we're looking for right now, so we're going to pass that one. Go to the next one. Also, you'll notice that most of our deck, they're 3 costs. So the Reweave, we can actually reweave units after they've swung and use that to go get some value out of shifting in things like Vishni's or the I can't even remember the name of it now. The 5/1 that deals 5 damage. Ooh, nice. This is going to be a pretty spicy little hand. We're going to go ahead and do this and play out the Vishni. It might eat an Ice Bolt here, which would actually be pretty perfect for us. No, okay. Well, maybe. Maybe it'll eat an Ice Bolt. Maybe we eat a Pump Spell. We'll trade it for something and then we'll Remembrance it back into play and give us a bunch of elves. So this is going to be really good card event. Oh, no. That's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. Opponent smartly stops our Vishni. We're going to go ahead and swing in anyways. We might get a 2-for-1 here. A Defiance. Okay, we kind of did get a 2-for-1 there because they used a premium removal spell. That's pretty good for us, actually. We're pretty happy about that. We're going to go ahead and play out this Rakano banner. And then the Senway Smuggler. If we put the Nikos away, we're never getting it back again. But we can grab this Madness because next turn we'll be able to Madness away something. So we're going to go ahead and just not worry about the Nikos plays. It's kind of living the dream, or kind of a, you know, not our main game plan anyways. We're going to do that and we're going to pass the turn back. Our opponent should put us on Uldra now because, I mean, why would we be playing this without Uldra? Hopefully they drop a Sandstorm Titan or something here that we can steal away and then reweave into something. Probably what we're going to do is we're going to steal away some... Ooh, Chalice. Now that is unexpected and kind of okay with me. So we're going to go ahead and play the Seed of Chaos. I'm going to Madness away the Desert Marshal because that's the best unit to Remembrance off of them. Swing in with everything. They might block the Desert Marshal, and I'm fine with that if they do. Okay, they didn't. So we're going to reweave the Desert Marshal into... And this is where you're going to see the tech. Watch this. Into the Stronghold Vandal, one of, to kill their cup. So we're going to smash it and then pass the turn back. So we just really put our opponent behind on that, with that series of plays. And then, oh, they're going to Harsh Rule. So if they play another cup, we have another Vandal. So they're playing like the classic Harsh Rule list that I was never a fan of because they kind of do this. They play a bunch of really terrible things and focus on having the cup and then Harsh Rule their own board hoping to get there. And I've never been a fan of those lists back when they were like the list that everybody was playing. And the fact that it's coming back does not inspire me at all. Here they've got really bad blocks. I don't know what they've got there, but we'll swing in and see what happens. Okay, so clearly they're going to have some spell to make this thing work. Do we have anything we want to bring back? Probably not right now. We're probably going to have to bring back that Stronghold Vandal. I would love to shift the Quake Titan, but we can't, so we're just going to play it out. And it's going to be a good blocker against the Pearl Abbey. Oh, a Seraph. Okay, I'm actually fine with that. That does not bother me one little bit, especially because we can... Let's see, we can do some shenanigans here where we combust the Titan to kill off the Seraph, and then shift the Titan back to kill off the 1/3, and then swing in with the 2/2/1s, which I think is going to be our play here. So this is why we've got the deck set up the way we do. We're going to kill off the Seraph. Then we're going to bring back the Quake Titan to kill off the Burden Bearer. I know we could have hit our opponent, but here now they're going to either have to choose to block or not block. If they don't block, they're dead next turn. They wisely choose to block. Now they're going to be able to survive through to draw into another one of their harsh rules. We got our own harsh rule. That's pretty nice. Swing in with these, and we're kind of set up to get an Uldra at some point. Here, I don't care what they silence. It really does not matter to me one bit. Put them down to 5. They've got 2 turns before this just kills them, and there's nothing they can really do about that. Swing in with this, see if they've got anything. They don't, so now they've got to have 2 ways. They've got to deal with 2 creatures or they're dead, and there we go. Here we are with game 2 against Joaquin666, and I gotta tell you, last game was pretty awesome. We got to show off almost all of the tech that we stick into the deck, so that was really funny that our first game out with it. And this hand is clearly not keepable. We don't have Shadow, and we only have 1 power, so we're gonna redraw that one. Hopefully we get something better. It's always fun when that happens. Here we don't have fire, and we also once again have the Nikos in hand. That seems to always happen to us. The one of in the deck that we never want to draw is always there. Well, this is also a pretty unplayable hand. We have power, but it's super draw dependent. And I'm not really a fan of that. Wow, that got us out of a lot of problems. So we got really lucky with that draw. I'll take it. We don't need another Combust right now. We need action. We already have a Combust and a Devour, so we're going to go ahead and just pass on that one. Uldra is a little bit too early here, so we're going to pass again. Hopefully we draw something not an Uldra. Here we are against another Combust deck, so this would be interesting. I wonder if this is just going to be Cup again. We're going to go ahead and pass again. See what happens, see if we get some, no, it looks like it's just Combust. So we're up against some kind of big Combust brew. Probably gonna have to kill this to keep the stand together from making this too big to deal with, which isn't very exciting to me, but it's what we gotta do, and you gotta do what you gotta do, so. Not sure what the opponent went and grabbed. Probably something to shut down our mark or our void here, so we're gonna play this. Swing in for 3, and then, I mean, we're just going to have to take this out. These things can just grow out of control. And while, yes, I know we can take it out later. Well, you know what? Nah, we can take it out later. I'm gonna risk it. And we might find the madness after they've made this big and be able to kill them with their own unit. Like, I really wanted to, just in case. Oh, that's fine. We don't mind that one too much. That's not the worst thing in the world. No blocks here. We're probably going to go ahead and devour this. No, let's wait, and we'll devour it on our turn. We're going to swing in, see what our opponent does. If they block, we'll let it happen. Yeah, we'll let that happen. That's pretty good for us. And then we can Remembrance that back if we want to scout again, which isn't the worst idea in the world. We can also go grab that madness like I was thinking. Let's Remembrance that back first and scout. We'll probably get rid of one of these Devours to go grab a madness. We don't need another Remembrance right now. Let's go ahead and put this out. We'll play it regularly. We'll grab a Devour to go get the madness. Now, hopefully we'll find a Reweave, and we'll be able to Reweave back into the Vandal again to kill that Obelisk. And you're seeing why we run that one Vandal. It's so good to Reweave into. It's so good to just find randomly. But, like, you don't want to have too many of them in your hand. Ooh, an Auric Runehammer. Okay, so we're going to lose our 3-2. That's not the worst thing in the world. They'll swing in with their 3-2, and then if we really want it... Oh, okay, well, that's pretty good. I think let's go ahead and do it. Let's take this from them. We'll swing in with it. Take out their hammer. Then we'll go ahead and sacrifice it. Take out their 3-2. We've got the harsh rule to kind of mop things up again later. And then if we need to, we can always just Reweave our own unit and not really worry that much. So There's the Reality Warden, but we're using Harsh Rule, so this is actually a very bad card against us. Unfortunately, we'll need to go ahead and find a merchant to get rid of that Uldra at some point, so we're going to go ahead and drop that. And then, do we want to take 8 or not? I'm actually fine taking 8 to hit back for 3 so that we can Devour and then Harsh Rule. So, I'm pretty okay with that. Plus, it might get our opponent to play more stuff out. We really want to get as much card advantage as we can off this Harsh Rule. And remember, life is a resource, and there's not usually a lot of charge in these colors. So, this is not the worst thing in the world. We'll swing in with this. Tag our opponent. This is 9. Oh. So this is 13, so we're dead if we don't use the Harsh Rule now. So as much as I would have liked to have gotten that, we'll go ahead and drop that, pass the turn. We might just drop out the Uldra as a 7/5 next turn just to have it down there if we don't draw a merchant.
I bring you aid.
Well, we're going to start getting wrecked by this Night Seraph. So let's go ahead and drop the Uldra, pass the turn. We need to find another Harsh Rule. We need to find a lot of stuff. Harsh Rule is basically what we need, as long as this doesn't have Aegis, and it doesn't, so that's good. That's good for us. Oh, Quake Titan, not what I'm needing, not what I'm needing. So we can drop the Quake Titan, drop the Conscript, be able to block. Let's do that. Play these guys not shifted. This will give us block potential. Unfortunately, the Overwhelm is going to be a big problem here. They've got 15. We've got 5, 9, 10. So we're going to take... Okay, yeah, we're fine. So we've got 10 to block... Oh, okay, good. They're not even going to be... Okay, excellent. That's even better. So now we can... Let's see. So they've got 10 coming through 5. So if we block with everything, we lose it all. This dies, but we don't take any damage. However, we can just block with those 2, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, we got to block with everything to kill it. So we have to block with well, we could just block with these 2. Take 4. Keep this one around. Eat it with that and try to find... Yeah, let's block like that. Our opponent's trying to BM over there. Quake Titan, not what we're looking for. Let's eat this. Hopefully we find power and Harsh Rule, or we're just dead. There's power, no Harsh Rule, and we're one short of being able to cast the Uldra, which actually, would that have gotten us out of this? Would have dropped that. We don't have, no, it wouldn't have dropped, wouldn't have gotten us out of this. So, unfortunately... well, that's 11. So if our opponent is smart and swings with both, we're dead here. So let's see if our opponent can count. Our opponent cannot count, so that's good. Opponent being unable to count gives us an out. Not a good one, but it gives us an out. Wow, that was really lucky since our opponent's actually running a Combust market. That's a really lucky draw there. So this gives us an out for the Harsh Rule. We can block there. We did not get our one out for the Harsh Rule. Do we have anything that will get us out of this? Quake Titan, Scout, no. No. Quake Titan, and then, Scout. So if we kill this... Once again, our opponent didn't do math. Oh, there's the Harsh Rule. Our opponent failed at doing math last time. They might fail at doing math again. And we might get out of this. Let's see if our opponent fails at their math skills again. I hope they do. No, opponent finally figured it out. Oh, that's so rough. That's so sad when your opponent finally figures out that they've had the win. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and concede that one. We were so close. If our opponent had just punted one more turn. Okay, and here we are with game 3. Oh man, that last one was so close to our opponent punting it away. This is not amazing. It's kind of keepable. It's only 2 power, which is a little bit rough, but we are running, I believe, 29 power sources in here because I think we have 4 Seek powers in here. This is the deck with 4 Seek powers, right? I think so. Anyways, so I think we're fine keeping this. We have 29 power sources, so there's 27 power draws left in the deck to get us to our 3rd power. We'll start with that Nimble Conscript. That's the most aggressive start we can have. Most draws are going to be okay. We don't want to see a Nikos or an Uldra. Those are the 2 draws we don't want to see. Crooked Alleyguide is good. We'll cast that first. See what's on top. Power is good. We need Justice at some point, but we don't have any Justice cards right now, so we don't need it that bad. That power is unexciting, but what we kind of need. So it looks like we're up against maybe Mono Time Midrange, maybe Elysian. This is looking more like Mono Time Midrange. It could be that Mono Time Shift deck, which if it is, I'm really not too scared of that. Although, I'm a little scared about any deck right now because we're kind of at a very slow start. But we'll see what happens. Oh, okay. So this is a Mono Time Tokens deck. Interesting. So I'm expecting them to drop a, they're going to be dropping a, an obelisk next turn probably, so we might need to kill these things. We can wait to kill them until next, well, should we just kill them now? What happens if, okay, so next turn, most likely I'm getting a 3-drop. Yeah, okay, we'll just end the turn. We can kill them next turn. If they drop an obelisk, we can kill them next turn. If they don't drop an obelisk, we can swing and kill. Okay, there's the obelisk we were expecting. So they swung in with everything. We could have saved ourselves 4 damage, but then we wouldn't be dealing another 3 to our opponent, so it's probably okay. We're going to go ahead and swing in with both. And then play out a Nimble Conscript regularly, and then sacrifice a Nimble Conscript to kill this Overwhelmer. And then pass the turn to our opponent. So now this one's not going to swing. This one's probably going to swing. Hit us for 2. This one's probably going to swing. I won't block it. No blocks. So depending on what they play, this might swing or... Oh, okay. Ooh, that was a pretty good draw. So I'm going to go ahead and swing with this. Okay, well, not the worst thing in the world. It's unfortunate, but... that happens. If we draw exactly power next turn, exactly a justice next turn, this is why we play the harsh rules. But this slow start is definitely going to be wrecking us a bit here. We're going to go ahead and kill the Pride Leader now, just in case. And then we're going to use the Remembrance to scout, because we really need to draw that power next turn. Although actually 4, 5, 6, 7... Oh no, we're just dead anyways. We weren't going to get there anyways, so that is game. Well... sometimes, guys, you get those slow starts, and you just really don't want to have to see those ones in there. You really don't want to have to see the games like that, but hey, it happens. Yeah, unfortunately, that game 3, that the slow start is just absolutely what you never want to see in any deck, especially not in a deck like this. Here is a game 4 start out unplayable hand, Gamuggling that one away, and this one is also pretty terrible as we have 5 power, mulligan that one away, and... well, I mean, we will be able to cast this on turn 3, so I guess we keep it. We might even get lucky enough to find another Justice at some point. We'll go ahead and grab that Fire Sigil. We have exactly equal chance of finding the Fire and the Justice. So, I guess we have a little bit lower chance of finding the Justice because we don't have the extra Justice banners, but that's okay. It's still worth it to go ahead and get that now so we can make sure we're going to have that. Let's go ahead and we'll disguise the Shadow because we're pretty much going to play this on turn 3 no matter what. We got a couple more turns before we have to worry about not getting the power for this. Uldra, you're a little too early to the party. There's the Quake Titan out there. It might eat a Permafrost, but that's why we have things like the Combust. That's also, by the way, I didn't really mention it much, but that's why we run so many sacrifice effects in here, is because the prevalence of things like permafrost and stuff, you really need to be able to get rid of your units so that you can bring them back with Uldra. It's actually pretty important. Okay, so Elysian Killers, I'm assuming that's the Elysian deck I usually see, but this might be some different brew. This might be something interesting. Not what I wanted to see. Pass that. Swing with this, see what the opponent does. Okay, I'm fine with that block. Hopefully we stop running bad and stop drawing Uldras. Start drawing some power. Champion of Wisdom, that's unexpected. Well, Quake Titan. And then they only have to get this thing to 4s, so if they find one more, they're going to get to swing through to us. So we're just going to go ahead and do this now. Pass the turn. We're seeding our Void for this Uldra if we ever draw more power, which is going to be useful. Any Justice, so we have 3 more Seek powers in here. That could find us something. That's a Shadow Sigil. That's a little bit closer to that Uldra, which would be good because it would kill this, hit our opponent, but not what we're looking for. There's an Obelisk. That was kind of expected when they played the Great Valley Smuggler. Ah, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. Rakano banner. Now the question is, do we go in for it right now? And I think the answer is no. Because we will be able to drop the Uldra, kill things off, and then harsh roll the Uldra away along with the Quake Titans to kill things off again. Oh, and there's a Nikos. That's pretty. Do that. Kill this. So if our opponent doesn't have anything, we can just play Nikos next turn. So they probably have... If they Ice Bolt our Uldra, we play Nikos, hit him for 10. Thunderstrike Dragon, I don't care about. Permafrost, I also don't care about. So here we go. Oh, and the opponent with the BMs. Let's go ahead and just mute that down. The beauty of Uldra Harsh Rule. Yep, opponent's drawn some stuff. We will go ahead and seek power. Grab this. Play that out. Drop the Nikos. Swing in with both of these two. Now we pretty much have this game on lockdown if our opponent doesn't gain life, because they are only going to hit us for 10. Unless they find some other way of getting that extra 3 in there, which could be possible. False Prince doesn't do it. Swinging in for that doesn't do it. Blocking doesn't do it. Oh, they could find it if they get super lucky off the Premonition Bolt. So if they were going to do this, they should have swung in with both. They didn't. We're going to go ahead and reweave our Quake Titan into a Quake Titan, dealing 5, and there you go. So like I said, the Justice adds a lot of explosivity to this deck, and you saw the earlier games where I said we give up a lot of consistency. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You got to see the explosivity that the Justice adds to the deck. You also got to see the tech of the Stronghold Vandal. You could argue that maybe we need to put in more Stronghold Vandals, and you could probably take out the Seek powers for that. But you also got to see the power that Reweave had. It helped us find the Stronghold Vandal in one game where we needed it. It also helped us get the kill in that game 4 with the Quake Titan when we needed it. So very useful, very powerful. You also got to see the interaction of Uldra with the Harsh Rule. But unfortunately, or I guess not unfortunately, but fortunately, because I like it best when you get to see the good and the bad of a deck, you also got to see those 2 games in the middle where we were just a little bit too slow. Now, especially that third, was it the third game? I think it was the third game, whichever game it was, where against the mono time player, that was a situation where we're just too slow because that's just the shift deck was too slow, and that's kind of the problem the shift deck has in general, is that it's an aggro deck that's not really aggroing until turn 3 or turn 4. Now, once it starts to get its aggro on, it does a significant amount of damage, as you saw. But if it can't get there fast enough, or if you have an opponent that gets there faster than you, yeah, you're just going to get overrun. Like, that's just what happens. And so the 2-color versions that run like the champions can kind of mitigate that a little bit because they have the champions to block with as another one of their 3-drops. But, sometimes you just, you want a little bit more of that high end. And if you're one of those people that just runs good, then a deck like this might actually just be straight in your wheelhouse. So, hope you enjoyed the games, and we'll be back with more later next week. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day, guys. Bye.